I'm Brittany.
And I'm Tori.
And this is
the Be Afraid of the Dark podcast.
La Spooky
hello.
Now it's episode 10.
Yes. She said it was episode 10 last night. Or last night, Jesus. Last episode.
I don't know what day of the week it is anymore.
I don't either. I'm exhausted.
Me too. They're all just blending.
That's a fair statement.
Ugh. It's been a crazy one. We're here on a Thursday, which is weird for us.
Very off-putting.
I mean, we're happy to see each other.
Hi, beautiful.
Hey, Gorge.
I don't even think I talked to you really when I got here, but
you were like, here's Diet Coke.
Yeah, that's how I always make my appearance.
Yep. I don't mind it.
It's always me bringing her Diet Coke, but her never bringing me orange Gatorade.
Because you're on your way here. Logic. Anyway, story time.
Story time?
Story time? You want a story time first today? No,
sure.
Story time second time?
I don't really have stories to tell, do I? What did I do this
We had
week?
some guy who pissed you off today.
Yeah, but he was at work, so I'll keep it professional. He's just a butthead. That's all I gotta say about that topic.
I mean, relatable. Me today. On another note, have you dived into this Britney Spears thing like I was telling you about?
No, I completely forgot.
Dude. It's fucked.
Why?
So I fell even darker into the TikTok hole.
Okay.
And how I think I texted you Tuesday? I think it was. And I was like, her Instagram is gone.
Oh yeah, whatever day that was.
And nobody's seen or heard from Britney since she was in Mexico.
It was the cartel.
Some people are thinking it's some people are like, oh, she's being trigger warning, human trafficked or some shit's going on, but nobody's heard from her since Mexico.
Interesting.
And her posts that I guess is she's been posting are just weird. Some of them are still videos from when she was in her conservatorship, old house.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's weird. But then I'm also the thing she was posting, I don't know if there's anything wrong. You're in a conservatorship so long, once you're on your own, don't you have to relearn how to acclimate as an adult yourself?
How to person? I have no idea.
I'm I don't even know how to person. And I'm 28. And I've been personing apparently my whole life.
What? You know how to person?
No, not really. But we're here for a spooky night about some sanatoriums, insane asylums, however you want to
however you call them,
word them, the spooky places where the people who not everyone meant to go there went.
Yeah. Not everyone that should have been there or were there.
Women who apparently when we bleed, hysteria, apparently we just need to send us to a mental hospital. Doesn't that sound like a break though?
It does. Sometimes it's just, it sounds like such a good trip.
Doesn't it? You want to take vacation to the mental hospital.
Yeah, it would be such a great break.
Honestly, it would. You get food, you get water, you get a nice place and a bed.
I can't guarantee any of them are actually nice, nice quality, but
no, but at least
we know what you're going for.
It's away from the outside world for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm down.
I'm down.
I
would go. We could go on a vacation. Would you go to a mental hospital if your friends went to a mental hospital?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I would. It'd be a vacation.
They'd be like, yeah, put these two in separate wards.
Oh my god, no, please. We gotta be eating pudding together or Jello and
I think that's more of the hospitals. You get pudding and Jello after you have surgery and shit.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess you're right.
I had
but,
a lot of Jello after after kiddo was born.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jello is kind of lit though. Have you seen the frozen Jello shit on TikTok?
Yes.
The
I
way you
kinda
looked at
wanna
me for a second, you were like,
It took me a second. My brain was processing.
process brain work.
Yeah.
That shit looks lit. Not gonna lie.
Right?
Not gonna lie.
I'm not a big, I don't know. I'm not a big ice cruncher. Does that make sense?
Really?
I have sensitive teeth.
So do I, but I still go at it.
Kiddo loves munching on ice, though.
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good snack. If you tell her it's a snack.
Oh, no. She'll just, if you got ice in your cup, she'll be like, can I have an ice cube?
The best ice is go to Sonic and get a cup of ice from Sonic and one of their large ass spoons and just spoon feed yourself the ice. I used to do that all the time.
You little weirdo.
Dude, it's so nice. Just the noise. Sorry for headphone users.
That was probably such a gross noise.
Okay. Do you want to start us off today, or do you want
I
me to?
would love to. I'm sorry. I'm having OCD over I have that keyboard cover thing.
Yeah.
But you know how the light also shines through the MacBook?
Yeah.
And they're not lining up perfect. So then it has that old early 2000s 3D effect. And I'm not for
Not even
it.
looking at it, and I can see it.
I'm not for it.
Are we good now?
Yeah.
That wasn't a really positive
Yeah, sorry. I'm half here today. I apologize.
It's okay. I'm here because we're just so busy coming up, man.
We are. You want to explain the schedule that we've got?
Oh my god, where do I begin? Sure, I'll try to I'll do some.
Let's just share all that we have coming for you guys.
This
real
is
quick.
one reason why we're tired.
Cause what you don't know is we both have full-time jobs.
Yes,
Lives outside.
full-time jobs.
Yes, life outside of work, and then. Sorry, I totally burped.
It's okay. It was cute.
Oh god.
Oh,
that one was
even larger.
That one was involuntary. I apologize. And then we literally put all our efforts into the podcast as much as we can, outside of the podcast as well.
We literally text each other all day about it or what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So coming up on the 12th, which is Monday, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have an interview.
I don't know what day it is.
On the 15th, I believe that's
Thursday.
We have an interview. That Friday, we have another one. I'm really stoked about that.
I thought it was Saturday.
Is it Saturday? It's Friday.
Oh God, we're gonna
the
have
16th. It's the 16th, sweetie.
I thought it was the 17th.
Nope.
We might have to double check that one.
No, it's the 16th. It's in the email at 7:00.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. You're hearing us.
Oh my God.
That one's gonna be really interesting. And then the 19th, we are actually going to be
on someone else's
podcast.
Yes.
Paranormal, the new normal.
Yes.
And then on the 21st, we are having an interview with another lovely lady. And then in January, I believe we already have 2. I know we're going to be on one podcast with
yes, I believe we're at 2 already in January.
Yes. And
so
we are just
a lot.
There's a lot going on.
Yes. So, sorry for the long intro. But yes, I will go first. I think it's my first. Who are you, sir? I don't know anyone from that area code.
What if it's Eminem?
Like the candy company or the rapper?
I mean, both are awesome, but I was thinking about the rapper.
Well, it wasn't a Detroit area code.
What if
either.
it's Jack Harlow?
But he's also not. It was like Montana. Do you know anyone that lives in Montana that we'd care about? Other than our lovely, lovely podcast viewers?
I sometimes forget Montana's a state.
No, what's the MD one? It said something, it started with an O and then it said MD.
I don't remember.
I don't know my states, so I don't know.
I know how they all. I know them in alphabetical order, but I don't remember their initials.
Okay. Anyway,
Montana.
Montana would be MT, right?
I
I
don't
would
know.
assume. I don't know.
While you do that, I'm gonna Google so we can figure out who called you.
It's a 301 area code.
It's
so
a 301.
yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Oh God, now we're invested. This is the whole thing. We're so sidetracked. We're like the podcast of squirrel moments.
Okay, Squirrel Moments podcast. Have you ever just had those moments where weird and outrageous ideas?
Oh my God, it's an actual podcast.
Squirrel moments, and life is filled with them.
I can't. It won't let me turn it off.
Discussing my life's constant.
Oh my God.
The podcast is literally called Squirrel Moments.
I love that so much.
My husband's gonna be so irritated when he gets his computer back and on his podcast is gonna say, "Oh my
Squirrel
God."
moments.
He's gonna be like, "What are you doing? It's Maryland. It's Maryland."
Oh.
Oh God. Hi Maryland, what's poppin'? But also hi Montana.
I was on the wrong side of the country.
Way on the wrong side. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's fine. It's okay.
Everything's fine.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Okay, I didn't even tell you what asylum I was doing. You told me which one you were doing. But
Yeah, you're just like, pick yours and then I'll just grab one.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Mystery. We like a surprise. So I'm doing Penhurst Asylum.
Ooh.
Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
There's a lot of juicy deets about there.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, it's in Spring Lake, Pennsylvania.
We love Pennsylvania.
I do know where Pennsylvania is.
You do? Did you know that they're by Maryland?
They are.
And I know it's pronounced Maryland, but I've always called it Maryland since I was a kid, so leave
It's the
me
only
alone.
way I know how to spell it.
Same.
Because I want to spell it like Marilyn, like Marilyn Monroe.
Me too.
If I don't say it, Maryland.
I just go my mom's name and land.
Perfect.
Never forget.
So, this is over an 100-year-old, now abandoned asylum with one of the most documented locations for paranormal activity in the state.
That doesn't surprise. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm crying.
But don't worry.
Uh-huh.
It opens its doors every year on Halloween.
Bitch, we have so many places we need to go.
I know. Okay.
We need to start like podcasting in like haunted places.
Ooh.
I just gave myself the chills.
Ooh.
I love when I'm spooky.
Okay. But so back in 1903 is when our story begins.
Ooh. You're giving me the chills. I don't know if you're giving me the chills or is it because I have to potty really bad?
Didn't you go before we started?
I have drank a lot today. Leave me alone.
Okay. But the population of Spring City region was a growing, had massive growing numbers of physically and or mentally disabled people in need of care and housing. So that same year, the Pennsylvania legislative
Words.
agreed for the creation. I literally, wow.
Girl,
Stroking
do you want to
out.
try that whole sentence again?
Okay.
Let's breathe
So-
in. Breathe out.
So
Words.
later that same year, the Pennsylvania legislative agreed to the creation of this hospital.
Yay!
By the time that the hospital was ready in 1908, so it took almost 5 years to complete this massive ground.
I'm
And
like, no shit, that was especially the thing's fucking huge.
yeah. Well, I'll go over about more what's in what contains. or
Oh,
whatnot.
contain.
So by the time that it was built, there was more than 4,000 special needs people that needed care and housing in the state.
Oh damn.
So the Pennhurst Asylum was meant to create a safe space that almost felt like a safe haven for these people, and were able, and was meant to be able to meet all their different types of special needs.
Yeah.
2 buildings were constructed, like mainly. They were like the center focus for one of the educational and industrial departments, and the other one was for like custodial and asylum department. The hospital, and it was like a school, was required to house no less than 500 patients. So that was the minimum that they needed to meet. But sadly, because we know how mental health has gone through and
Yeah.
how we treat the disabled, they were actually called inmates at the time.
No way. Were they really?
Mm-hmm.
On mine, they weren't.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Do
So
you think it varies? Like, do you think like
where they're
well,
located?
yeah, do you think like the hospitals could choose what you call me? Because like I wouldn't
I would
think-
assume so, maybe.
like why the fuck aren't they patients? What the hell are
Yeah.
they inmates?
I don't know. So the first building was built on a 634 acre property. Like, this is a massive plot of land. Dining halls, kitchens, storage rooms, cottages, teachers' homes, laundromats or laundry buildings, power stations were also created alongside the main housing units. By the time that all the construction was done for this campus, it had, I think it over 30, I think it was like 32 buildings in total.
Oh
Yeah, it was a massive, to the point where this property was pretty much just its own little city at this point.
Avi.
Yeah. And each building was connected with fireproof tunnels and walkways used for transporting the residents from building to building.
Fifi,
Not tonight, Bo.
sorry, baby.
You can't
Not
guest star.
tonight. Sorry, our mascot's here. Hope you all saw her on the gram, on Miss Fifi.
I apologize. Okay, then finally on November 23rd, 1908, patient number 1 was admitted. Sadly, within just the first 4 years of this asylum being like up and running, they were already overcrowded, understaffed, and under the pressure of the state to also start admitting
Excuse me.
immigrants, orphans, and even criminals, because obviously the prisons are starting to be overcrowded as well.
All right, sorry. Had a coughing fit.
Tori died for a second.
I did. It's fine. I'm back.
Okay, so each resident or inmate, patient, whatever you want to call them, I'm going to call them residents.
Yes,
I
that
think
sounds
that's more
That's
appropriate.
much nicer.
Yes. Was first admitted, then put into a classified mental category of imbecile or insane.
Oh, excuse me, what?
Yep. Oh, it gets worse. And then they were put into physical categories of epileptic or healthy. Yeah. And then finally into a dental category of good, poor, or treated teeth upon arrival.
What?
Yep.
Dude, mine had none of that. They just brought him in.
Yeah. Oh, just wait. It gets crazier. They would be assigned. So upon showing up, they would be after they got categorized, they'd be assigned to a job that fit them as like a shoemaker, farmer, doing laundry, sewing, painting, and there was like a lot more.
Yeah.
Pennhurst housed nearly 11,000 children and adults with cognitive disabilities.
Excuse me. I thought 500.
Was their minimum.
Oh,
That was the
minimum.
requirement from the state, is they had to minimum of 500.
How do you even have the? You cannot physically have the staff for that many
Well,
people.
and that's part of the problem. So they were subject to medical experimentation, cruel and unusual punishments, and
Yep.
threats. But don't worry your little booty. They were used to it because this is actually just they're like, once they got admitted, it was just part of their daily culture at the Pennhurst.
I see. Flashback to American Horror Story, the asylum one. This is what I feel like.
Yeah.
This particular asylum was based off
basically,
of. It has to be now that I'm listening to it.
Due to them being so understaffed, I read that like they would just tie them down. Like if they didn't have the staff to take care of them, and they knew they couldn't, they'd tie them down until a staff member could get to them. Yeah.
I mean, I hope they liked being tied down.
Tori Lynn.
I'm trying to see a silver lining in all of this.
As we all know, the understanding of mental illness and disabilities goes back. It is very poor, and
it was awful back then too. Nothing like it is now, and it's still stigmatized now. But
right, to the point that the Pennhurst's own chief physician quoted Henry H. I always pronounce this last name wrong, so I apologize. Is it Goddard? It's Goddard. Goddard.
I'm not 100%.
Yeah, every feeble-minded person is a potential criminal. In the general public, although more convinced today than ever before, it is a good thing to segregate the idiot to the distant imbecile. They have not as yet been convinced as to the proper treatment of the defective delinquent, which is the brighter and more dangerous individual. That's how this Henry guy thought of these people.
What a nice man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to meet him in a dark alley and beat the booty out of them.
Right. So luckily the treatments that were for like the treatments that these poor people had to go through were finally exposed in 1968, but I mean that's still 60 years.
That's a long time.
After the
That's
hospital.
A lot of people that died.
Yeah. So so they were exposed when a local news station aired a 5-part report on the Pennhurst Asylum.
Yep, that's exactly what American Horror Story is based off. Sorry. I've always been trying to pinpoint which exact asylum they tried to base it off of. Now that you just said that, I'm like, yep.
Yeah, and then again, they were exposed in 1981 when Times Magazine did an article describing Pennhurst having a history of being understaffed, dirty, and violent. In 1983, 9 of the asylum employees were indicated on charges of slapping and beating patients, including those in wheelchairs, and even went as far as arranging for patients to actually fight each other. So they had like a fight circle within the hospital for their own amusement.
Fight club.
Yeah.
Love that.
So thankfully, the hospital was finally closed on December 9th, 1987, due to the years of alleged or allegations of patient mistreatment. They finally closed it down.
Sorry, you might hear a little mic boop for a second. I'm being just very careful. Fiona decided to, make her presence known, and
yeah.
I'm really sorry. I'm trying really hard. Okay.
So the campus and its series of hidden underground tunnels connecting each one of the buildings, those fireproof tunnels I was talking about.
You have tunnels, I have tunnels.
Sat abandoned for 30 years. Yeah. And they just started doing like the Halloween stuff in the recent years. But don't you worry, Penhurst have gotten lots of love from the living with the visitors such as ghost hunters and our beloved Zach Baggins.
What a lovely piece of man.
Ah, so good.
I took a lot of extra time on that man. He was like, hold up. Forget about the animals. I need to sculpt this man to perfection. Sorry, baby. I love you a lot, but
Zach Baggins. Okay, so today the building.
Dude, I'd like to bag him.
So that today the buildings are known to have their fair share of ghost adventures going through the floors, searching for the answers and trying to communicate with the patients that were left there with nowhere to go, or the ones that sadly never got the chance to leave. Staff members and grounds caretakers all report that the buildings as well as the underground tunnels are severely haunted by the spirits.
No
Reports
shit,
of
Sherlock.
slamming doors, disembodied footsteps and voices, even the sounds of vomiting or crying can be heard from seemingly empty rooms. There are reports of a full body apparition of a little girl that just roams the campus. They always say she has like a lost or like puzzled look on her face and then she disappears.
Oh.
From most of the most common occurrences that you're going to find there are the sounds of children playing or crying. But most of the reports are all the spirits living in the Penhurst are like quite friendly and seem to just want someone to talk to or tell their stories to. Like they don't really want to cause you harm. There are some reports that say like satanic worship happened on the property, but that's pretty common with any abandoned property. But there don't seem to be many evil spirits reported. So I just like to think that like the good spirits outweighed the bad spirits and they like won over the ground.
And they were like,
They were like, "Ah,
I'm good." They're like, I'm good.
I'm evil.
Well, there's more of us than you.
Oh shit.
We win.
I don't know why, but that laugh really creeped me out.
Sorry.
Okay, but that is Penhurst.
Okay. I would love to tell you mine if Fiona lets me. So
Okay, yeah.
Give me a set. No, ma'am.
I'm gonna set my
Nope.
my
You
computer.
can go to Brit. There
Yeah,
you go.
I'll set it down so you can come up.
Go to Brit.
And then
Yep.
Where'd you go?
Go see Auntie Brit.
Where'd you go? Hey.
You butt
Hey.
muncher.
Okay, never mind. She doesn't want to play with me. Rude ass.
I know. She's a bitch, isn't she?
She a bitch and she know it.
Okie dokie, fam. I decided to do the Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Woo.
Or asylum, however you want to like word it.
Right.
So this land today is known as Waverly Hill. It was actually purchased by Mayor Thomas H. Hayes in 1883.
I'm gonna get cozy.
It was actually Hayes's family home originally.
Interesting to turn your home into an asylum.
Yeah. So it is located in Louisville, Kentucky, in Jefferson County.
Oh God, now I have a Jack Harlow song stuck in my head.
Good. You should always have a Jack Harlow song stuck in your head.
What's that? What's that? This ain't no good.
You know, 66?
Yeah, that one.
Bitch, I'm from Kentucky, but this ain't no fucking Dixie Chicks.
Now we're copyrighted.
Oh, we didn't finish it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so during the 1800s and early 1900s, America was like ravaged by that deadly disease known as the White Death.
Oh, I don't know if I'm like familiar with that one. I've heard
tuberculosis.
Oh, okay.
They called it the White Death then.
Gotcha.
Didn't you have to get tested for TB?
Yeah, I've gotten tested multiple times.
Yeah, I was like, didn't you have? Because you can carry it.
Yeah, you can carry it without having any, because TB can actually lay dormant for like most of your life, and then one thing can trigger.
Yeah, because if you have it, you can't be in the medical field, I
Nope.
believe.
You can't be in the medical field, and you actually can't work in childcare either.
Yeah, because I remember getting tested for my EMT.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back in here. So, this terrifying and very contagious plague for which there was no cure existed. It claimed entire families, sometimes entire towns in the 1900s. Louisville, Kentucky had the highest tuberculosis death rate in America. It was
Wow.
built on low swampland. The area was the perfect breeding ground for disease in 1910.
Yeah, I can
So,
imagine.
yeah. The hospital was constructed on a windswept hill in southern Jefferson County, and that had been designed to combat the horrific disease.
Right.
The disease continued to run rampant through the region, and eventually, with donations and money and land, a new hospital was started.
Nice.
So they had to like build it up from like what it was, because it was originally, like I said, that mayor's house, and
Right.
then they
Expanded
expanded
and
from it because he just like sold it to him. There wasn't really like a lot on him. It was just the
Hey.
ouch. There was like that much on it, and then that was it. But I just
Right.
thought it was like an interesting tidbit that it was
Yeah.
somebody's house before. So the new known structure, known as Waverly Hills, opened 2 years later in 1926. It was considered the most advanced tuberculosis sanitarium in the country, but even then, most of the patients succumbed to the disease.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially back then. Like there's still no cure to it. There's just ways to manage it
yeah,
now.
and maybe not die.
Yeah.
A horrible.
A horrible, horrible death.
So there was no medicine available at this time to treat the disease, like
Mhm.
you said, and many patients were offered rest, fresh air, and lots of nutritious foods.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so they weren't like terrible here. Sadly, the main use for the hospital was to isolate those who had come down with the disease and keep them away from those who had not. Families were tragically divided, with parents and even children forced into the sanitarium with little contact from their loved ones.
That's so sad.
COVID.
Yeah,
That's what it feels
seriously.
like.
Yeah.
It's awful. I'm kind of just diving into like everything so it will make
Yeah.
sense. So the treatments for tuberculosis were sometimes as bad as the disease itself at this time. Some of these experiments that were conducted in search of a cure seemed barbaric by today's standards. Bless you.
Thank you.
But others are now. You have the cutest fucking sneeze.
Stop
Also, bless you again.
Thank you.
But others are now common practice. Patients' lungs were exposed to ultraviolet light to try and stop the spread of bacteria. This was done in sunrooms using artificial light in place of sunlight,
Mm-hmm.
or on a roof or open porches of the hospital, since French air. Ooh,
French air. Sounds like
mm-mm.
something you have to buy.
It really does. I feel like if I go to France, I do have to buy the air
What
to
is that?
breathe.
The Lorax movie where they buy air?
Yes. Since fresh
Fresh
air
air.
was thought to also be a possible cure, patients were often placed in front of huge windows or open porches, no matter what the season.
See, but that just sounds beautiful. I mean, other than like being forced in front of a window in the middle of winter, but like Kentucky, I don't think has like bad winters like we do up here.
I mean, they get cold, they can get snow.
Hmm. You learn something
Old
new.
photographs actually show patients lounging in chairs, taking in the fresh air, while literally covered with snow.
Oh, see, yeah, that's not good.
No, but like they said, like it sounds barbaric by today's standards.
Yeah.
But back then, that was actually beautiful
I mean, it's still like everything
to
else
them.
sounds great. Like they weren't like this is like the first week that I've had the gruesome story out of the two of us.
Well, I mean, some of the other treatments were like
a little
little
more.
less pleasant
Okay.
and maybe bloodier.
Oh. Okay, continue.
Balloons would be surgically implanted in the lungs, then filled with air to expand them.
Ow.
Like, needless to say, this often had disastrous results.
I was gonna say, because if you push a balloon in the lungs, it's gonna push all the air out of the lungs.
Can't your lung go pop?
Yes, you can pop a lung as well. Okay.
Because, like, I know you can, like, deflate your lung and be like,
Yeah, that's why, like,
but, like,
they
can
all.
you picture, like, a lung actually just, like,
Well, that's that's why they say, like, if you're giving, like, an infant or, like, a toddler, CPR, to never push your full lung capacity, because their lungs are so much smaller. You can
yeah,
pop a lung.
yeah.
Oh, of course, now that I've gotten comfy, now you want to come up.
Of course, that's what she does.
And as soon as I
Fiona
freaking
Yonker.
move, she's such a turd burglar today.
Fiona. Fifi.
I just want it's okay. Continue.
Okay, she's just
Our mascot sucks today.
she's an asshole. As did an operation where muscles and ribs were removed from the patient's chest to allow the lungs to expand further and let in more oxygen.
That's not how that works.
This blood-soaked practice/procedure was seen as a last resort, and many patients did not survive it. Jump up there, you dumb bitch!
Oh my god. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna ignore you now. She's
She's
come up
really thinking about it.
with...
No, I lost my place. Patients did not survive it.
Yeah.
While the patients who survived both the disease and the treatments left Waverly Hills through the front door. Many others left through what came to be known as the body chute.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I know. This enclosed tunnel for the dead led from hospital to the railroad tracks at the hill using a motorized rail and cable system. The bodies were lowered in secret to the waiting trains. This was done so that patients... Holy crap, my stomach.
We're gonna take a break because the cat unplugged my...
Okay. I'm glad that I was able to be heard. Fifi,
She just did it, so all my audio is still good.
you're a
If the mic would pick back up if I
Yeah.
plugged it in mid-record.
All right, hold on. We gotta cut. Hi guys, we're back. So well, you were gone, and you really weren't gone. We were gone. Brittany just put her arm down. YouTube viewers can probably see it if Brittany leaves this in. Fiona literally just like opened her mouth and went
It just plopped her teeth on my arm.
for absolutely no reason at all.
You know when they say, like, when girlfriends for no reason bite their boyfriends? That's exactly what that was.
She's such a shit.
Oh my
God.
god, I'm gonna put together a TikTok video of just all the burps we do
Burps and sneezes.
while we record.
What are you gonna do? Lick her skin off with your sandpaper tongue? Okay, anyways.
Back to the
I don't know where I left off. So
the chute.
the body chute. Oh. This enclosed tunnel for the dead led from the hospital to the railroad tracks at the bottom of the hill using a motorized rail and cable system. The bodies were lowered in secret to the waiting trains. This was done so the patients would not see how many were leaving the hospital as corpses.
I mean, that's kind of sweet. Like,
it is.
For the living, not so much the dead.
Yeah, because the doctors believed that their mental health about this was just as important as their physical health.
Wow. Wait, what's the time period again?
1926.
Yeah, that's amazing for that time period.
Yeah.
What the heck?
There are actually many inaccurate reports as to how many people actually died at Waverly Hills.
Oh, so they didn't keep track. So does that mean that, they didn't tell all the families?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Some claim that it was tens of thousands that died within the walls
I mean,
of the hospital.
with how bad that pandemic was, I'm sure it's possible.
Some people think this number is greatly exaggerated, according to a former doctor, Frank Stewart.
Mhm.
He was an assistant medical director at the hospital. The
Okay.
highest number of deaths to occur at Waverly in a single year was 152. But we also know that doctors like to minimize
Make their numbers
things.
better. We're not saying today's doctors. We love today's
but
doctors.
back then that was a very common thing for
Yeah.
doctors to do, or be like, no, oh no,
Yeah.
because it's very likely that a majority of the patients did die once they entered the building
Yeah.
during that
Well,
time.
it was pretty much it was almost like a hospice care at that point.
It pretty much was.
Yeah.
And by the late 1930s, tuberculosis had began to decline around the world, and by 1943, new medicines had largely eradicated it in the United States. So a small jump in new cases did occur after World War II when they were returned home,
Right.
and they were housed at Waverly Hills.
Oh, wow. I bet that's so hard. You just come back from war. You just want to see your family, but now you're stuck in a
Yeah.
hospital, isolated again.
Yeah. That's so sad.
Yeah.
So it was in 61, it was closed down, but it actually reopened a year later.
Interesting.
As Woodhaven Geriatric Sanatorium.
Wow, okay.
There have been many rumors and stories told about patient mistreatments and unusual experiments during the years. The building was used as an old age home. Some of them have been proven to be false, while unfortunately others turned out to be true.
That sucks because it started off as such a good,
Yeah. But you got to remember, this is the time frame when that shit really started happening, because this is when
Yeah.
electroshock therapy was considered to be highly effective.
But like they're already in their old age. Just let them
I
be
know.
old.
And since electroshock therapy was like obviously used so much, they used it for like everything, for
Right.
ailments.
Did you know they still use it to this day?
My stomach was
Wow.
saying yes. I am so sorry about that like little bit of silence. It's because my stomach was growling and I was
Dude, your stomach growled
appalled.
so loud. I'm sure your mic picked up on it.
Like, I am appalled. I'm door dashing food after this, just FYI to everybody.
God.
So since they were budget cuts,
It's always the budget cuts that do
in
it.
the 1960s and 1970s, it led to both horrible conditions and patient mistreatments, and in 1982, the state closed the facility for good.
Well, at least the state put a stop to it.
It only took like 20-something years, but it's fine.
Well, mine took 60-some years.
I know, but these were old people. They didn't deserve that.
I know, but mine was 80 years of disabled ring fights.
I didn't mean to laugh. Hey, Paul, you gotta go to one of those fights today? Yeah, Earl, I gotta go. I think we fighting each other.
To the death.
Okay, I'm so sorry. We don't mean to be mocking.
No. God,
This
we're
is
such
like
horrible
called
people.
like we are not okay.
Yeah, right.
But if any of you were like wondering after all that death and that pain
Wait, are you about to tell me there's ghosts?
and that agony,
No way there's ghosts in this place.
that filled these walls at Waverly Hills, it's now considered to be one of the most haunted places in the country. Yay!
It's like we only talk about ghosts on this podcast.
Oh my god!
So it's like the theme of the show.
We do? We talk about ghosts?
Yeah, didn't you know?
No!
Are you a ghost? You'd be a demon.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Your laugh just made Fiona be like, bye.
It's okay. No. You were,
Okay.
You were
Any
warm.
reveals. So in March of 1996, Waverly Hills land was bought by Robert Albert Haskey, who ran the Christ the Redeemer Foundation Incorporated. He had
That's a
plans to
mouthful.
reconstruct the world's tallest statue of Jesus on the Waverly site, along with the Art and Worship Center. Give me a second. It was really hard for me not to laugh during that. The statue, which was inspired by the famed Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro. I'm so glad I read that without sounding like a fucking idiot. Was supposed to be like on the roof of the hospital at the cost about $4 million.
Jesus.
The next phase of his plan was to convert the sanatorium into a chapel, theater, and gift shop for around another $8 million. So it's not surprising that like the donations fell far from short, and
really
they raised only $3,000. The project was canceled.
Just a wee bit short out of the $11 million plans.
So like I said, there's like a lot to this story because it exchanged hands. The sanatorium went through a lot before people actually like started having ghosts like pop out, which is weird. That's why I'm giving you like as much information as I am, because it takes such a long time before there's like actually like big encounters that start to happen.
Okay.
So he abandoned Waverly Hills property and then ordered to recoup some of his costs. He tried to condemn some of the buildings to be torn down and redeveloped.
Right.
Which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, I just hit the scrolly button.
We apologize.
We need to give your girl a minute. I'm gonna have to stop because I have no idea where I am. Oh my god, where am I? Okay, fam, I'm a disaster. I really wish you could see what just happened. I got up, didn't think about it. My foot was so asleep.
She walked away so crazy.
But anywho, there's, like I said, there's a lot of history to this place. It made no sense that he wanted to tear down the buildings and then redevelop it, because that was going to cost him money that he didn't have. But then he thought that was going to make him more money.
Okay.
I don't know. And then the final plan was blocked by the county. And according to rumor, the demolition work was then done around the southern edge of the building in order to undermine the structural foundations and collect insurance money.
Oh, sounds like fraud.
Yeah. By 2001, the building had nearly been destroyed by time. The elements and vandals who came in here looking for a thrill, Waverly Hills had become the local haunted house and became a magnet for the homeless looking for shelter and teenagers who broke in looking for ghosts. The hospital soon gained its reputation for being haunted, and the stories began to circulate of resident ghosts like the little girl who is seen running up and down the third floor solarium, the little boy who was spotted with the leather ball, the hearse that appeared in the back of the building dropping off coffins.
Oh, God.
I know. The women with the bleeding wrists who cried for help. For others, visitors told of slamming doors, lights in the windows as if the power was still running through the building, strange sounds and eerie footsteps in empty rooms.
Oh.
So other legends are told of a man in a white coat who was seen walking in the kitchen and the smell of cooking food that sometimes wafted through the room. The kitchen was a disaster, a ruin of broken windows, fallen plaster, broken tables and chairs, and puddles of water and debris that resulted from a leaking roof. The cafeteria had not fared much better. Even so, a number of people have reported footsteps in the room, a door swinging shut and it's on its own, and the smell of fresh baked bread in the air.
So did they ever remodel it, or it's just this is
Nope, they just never did anything to it. No, they just
let
it all fall into disarray.
Okay.
There is, this is probably the greatest and most controversial legend from Waverly Hills.
Okay.
Waverly Hills connected to the 5th floor building. This old floor of hospitals consisted of 2 nurses' stations, a pantry, a linen room, medicine room, 2 medium-sized rooms on both sides of the nurses' stations. One of these was room 502.
I feel like that's gonna be important.
It's very important.
Okay. 502. I'm remembering.
It is the subject for many rumors, legends, and just about every curiosity seeker that had broken into Waverly Hills over the years wanted to see it. This is where, according to the stories, people have seen shapes moving in the windows, have heard disembodied voices, and if the legends are to be believed, random sane people have jumped to their deaths.
Oh my god. So this like place is still collecting bodies.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
There are a lot of legends about what went on, and I'm saying legends because I don't want to like be like this
Yeah.
did happen, this didn't happen. So I'm gonna say
Right.
legends about what happened in this part of the hospital, but perhaps the biggest misconception was that this floor used to house mentally ill tuberculosis patients. This was not the case.
Okay.
The patients here were not insane, nor were they confined to their rooms. They were free to move about just like patients on all the other floors of the hospital. This floor, thanks to its design, allowed patients to still benefit from fresh air and sunshine that they believed to cure or at least extend the life of
Mm-hmm.
with the disease. It was centered in the middle of the hospital, and the 2 wards extending from the nurses' station were glassed on either side with a patio type roof.
Okay.
So, according to stories, a nurse was found dead in room 502
Oh.
in 1928. She committed suicide by hanging herself from a light fixture. She was 29 years old and at the time of her death, unmarried and pregnant. Her
Oh my
depression
god.
over the situation led her to take her own life. It's unknown how long she may have been hanging in this room before her body was discovered, and this would not be the only tragedy to occur with connection room 502.
Oh my god, that's so sad.
I know.
Oh my god.
In 1932, another nurse who worked in the same room jumped from the roof patio and plunged several stories to her death. No one seems to know why she would have done this, but many have speculated that she may have actually been pushed over the edge.
Oh my god.
So there's something else that lives in this building.
Yeah.
Those are the stories or the legends that there are also conflicting accounts as to how this woman managed to hang herself from a light fixture, which that's people being people and skeptics
Yeah.
being skeptics, but I threw it in there because,
Yeah.
thought it was should.
Mm-hmm.
Some say it could have been a light fixture. It had to be the rafters, but there are no rafters. There was a pipe over the door that was part of a sprinkling system. And one of the John Thornberry, who was a former staff member there, who died in 2006 and was born in 1922, which would have made him about 6 and 10 years old at the time of these deaths.
Mm-hmm.
That were connected to 502. He very much states that these things did happen.
Okay.
Apparently a family member was a patient there, but some people don't know if these are total rumors or verification of it.
Right.
They don't know if it's an old man and his
Delirium
or
yeah.
what, but that seems like knowing something that young, it could be. I mean, I don't know. It's
I mean, but 6 and
interesting.
10 is like you remember stuff from
You
that
do, but
age.
that's also like when child trauma starts to happen and sticks. and
Yeah.
can fuck with you for the rest of your life.
That's true. That is very true.
Because you could develop DID at 6 years old.
That is true. You can.
That is when you start developing it. You're going to develop it or you're not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so it happened in room 502 that could cause so many people to claim paranormal existence there. Could it be your overactive imagination?
Right.
Or is it actually something real? It's hard to say, but it seems likely that something has occurred in that room and has caused the legend to take root in the first place. What might have been there, no one really knows, but the story of room 502 is loosely based on some forgotten facts, but some truth remains of all the speculations and rumors. But in spite of all this, the strange things continued to be recorded. Volunteers that would try to work toward restoring the building experienced ghostly sounds, heard slamming doors, saw lights appear in the building when they were there, and there shouldn't have been none, objects thrown at them. They were struck by unseen hands, saw apparitions in doorways and corridors, and more.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah. And so, you want to do your story? You want me to just go dive right into mine real
I can
quick?
do mine real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll finish with yours.
Perfect.
I'll just turn my computer back. Come back to life. Thank you. Okay.
Is you gone? Is you there, home?
Is you there, Holmes? Okay. So this one's Penhurst experience. ...
Ooh.
In 2017, there was an advertisement for a Paracon, so like paranormal con is what I'm taking from it, in a place I had
Yeah, there
never
was.
been to. Of all places, the Penhurst State School and Hospital, located in Spring City, Pennsylvania. I invited friends along, but only one showed up. Holly. Getting
Hell
there.
yeah, Holly. That's my sister-in-law's name.
You're so excited for the littlest things.
I'm sorry. Leave me alone. I'm
You're
also,
so
while
cute.
you're reading to me, I'm ordering DoorDash.
You're ridiculous. Getting there was easy, simple directions through GPS. At first, I had gotten myself turned around, but thanks to some friendly gents, they pointed me in the right direction. Had to park my infamous orange pumpkin, a Hyundai Ascent.
That was hard for you, wasn't it?
It was for some reason.
I saw it in your eyes. I looked up to you and you're like,
in a massive grass field. I couldn't see any buildings, just a long flight of steps going towards the top of this rocky hill. Holly arrived soon after I had checked in and received the wristband for the day. She was excited as I was. Her with her fancy camera and I with my secondhand digital. We ascended the steps towards Penhurst. As we hit the middle above us, we could see see a cross on top of was the administration building. Finally, at the top, and there she was in all her glory, Penhurst. We walked around Penhurst.
da 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 da.
Penhurst. We walked around the site for some times. I had seen bits and pieces of the Mayflower building, along with vendors in what seemed like every nook and cranny. We had gone through some of the old rooms, through the woods, a playground. When the wind blew, it was like a stir of echoes, whispers of the past coming to life, so that we as visitors would remember yesteryear. People were going in and out of these rooms quite quickly, capturing nothing but a few specks of dust and a stream of beam or stray beam of light covering windows. For a moment, I thought of how the spirits of these children felt with all these strangers going in and out of their rooms. Not being asked for permission, being demanded to show themselves. These entities are not circus performers. They are not pets. We are meant to learn from their unspoken past, not act like assholes.
Facts.
but to hold them in the highest regards, something I do in every location. Something drew me downstairs, so as Holly took pictures, I went into this basement/sub-basement area. It was dark and cold, not like the sunny outside from earlier. I had seen chairs that stood like memorial statues along with toys, still somewhat clinging to what happy memories they had seen, now covered in dirt and dust. I took pictures of a few darkened rooms. It almost felt as if something was going to pop out of nowhere and show itself when the flash went off. Nothing. I knew something was there. I saw a room at the end of the hall, pitch black. I went in.
Holy shit!
Oh, God, you scared the crap out of me.
I scared the crap out of you. Look what I just
I
freaking
mean, it's
looked at.
stuff. Yes, the cat's dangling from the
How?
ceiling.
How?
I don't know. She was over there.
How is this a thing, guys? She is literally upside down like a monkey. She scared the shit out of me.
And you scared the shit out of me because I'm over here. And
All
I
I
can't.
see is this like face, and I'm like,
Oh, I got scared burps. I got scared
I
burps.
want to see if I can try to get a picture of this so I can show them. You are freaking psychotic.
Oh my God.
I really didn't mean to scare you that bad. I really swear I didn't. I really promise that was not my intention. I'm just a terrible human being, apparently.
Oh my God. Are you going to take a picture real quick?
Yeah, I'm trying, but my phone's not working. You dumb
And then she went back
hoe.
into the ceiling. Oh, I don't like that because that
Fiona,
sounds like
stop.
a demon in the
Fiona,
ceiling.
stop.
This is what happens when you try to record with cats.
How is she getting into the ceiling? Just continue,
okay.
please.
There were two individuals taking infrared photos. Once they left, I had the room to myself. Not knowing how long I'd have this opportunity, I stood alone in the dark, using the power of kind thoughts to see what would happen. Something did. My shirt was tugged numerous times, and I felt it, like a child held on to two of my fingers. They crowded me because they were afraid of all these strangers. I was patient and kind when speaking to them, like a mother to her own. I said, I know you are scared. This place where you are safe, you are okay. I know these people are being rude, but when the lights go outside, the people leave. It's their time to play on the swings and to play with the toys left behind. It felt like a big relief came over me. I had more to say to them. You don't have to stay. You may see a beautiful light from where you are. If you go through that light, God is there and He loves us all. No matter what, He is waiting for us when we go beyond death. In His heaven, we are free. There is no more pain. Go, be free from this. I smiled and told them to be safe and that I would come back to check on them. I felt that some of them may have left in the light of God's love. The ones that remained were so special that they did not understand my message. Some of them are still waiting for mommy and daddy to get to them. It's hard with kids sometimes. Those both living and those who have passed, at least they know that someone can see them, hear them, understand them, and perhaps show them a little love along the way.
Oh,
And that's it. I gave myself goosebumps. Like, this was such a sweet story. I know. I couldn't not share, especially just because of how horrible that place was during its run. Like,
yeah.
to have someone go in there and like try and help them get through it, like, is just so sweet, and I could not share it.
I always love a good one.
We love the happy stories
They're
too,
just
guys.
hard to come by sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Because no one wants to. Not everyone posts their happy ghost stories. They're all like, oh, everyone wants to know the spooky ones, the scary ones.
my foot's asleep again.
Mine is too, so I'm gonna move. Sorry if you hear my chair squeaking. I'm not farting.
Where are you?
I fart in the sweets.
Okay, we gotta be honest. You farted while we pod. Don't lie. We all have. Okay.
I'm a female. I don't fart.
That's a bullshit lie.
I'm just sitting here farting.
Barton.
Okay. Go ahead and read your
Okey-dokey,
story.
artichoke. This post will be somewhat long, but hopefully it grabs your interest and you read through to the end. And I'm glad that I did.
Well, good.
Let's put it that way.
Sorry, I still have the scared burps. You got me so good.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to. Chica Brittany goes, I got a fart. The last one ripped, and I already hit the record button, and it was audible.
After I literally just said I don't fart.
And it was so audible. I can't. Oh, good. You have to keep that in for the YouTube viewers.
Probably not, but we can see.
Oh, God. Britt, that was hilarious. I can't. I don't fart.
Read your story.
Okay. I visited Waverly Hills back in July of 2012, and I had 3 other investigators with me. I'm not gonna really. Their names are Eric, Tommy, and Debbie.
Okay.
If you have never seen this building before, it's worth looking it up. It's huge. It's incredible to see in person. It will be hard for me to sum up my experiences without going into great detail because I feel the full effect of these experiences can only be truly felt with the vivid descriptions. But I'll do my best.
We love a vivid description.
This was the only place I have ever investigated that had made me uneasy enough to want to leave. But the
Oh.
sensation only came over me when my team and I entered the 5th floor.
Oh, that fancy 502 room.
Mm-hmm. The legend states that when the hospital was in operation from 1910 to 1961, a nurse actually had an affair with a doctor, became pregnant. Not only that, but she and therefore her unborn baby had contracted tuberculosis, the disease. The sanatorium was God dang it, Fiona, was Fifi determined to cure. Unable to handle the stress of her transgression and unable to bear the thought of her child being born with the disease, she performed her own abortion and threw her baby into the sewer system.
Oh, God.
And then she hanged herself. But note, this claim is not conclusively substantiated. It's legend/folklore about the additional, but they do note that a woman and her baby did hang herself.
Right.
But that's more into the lore. That's why I didn't say
Right.
it then, because it was in my story. Because I was like, ooh, I like how they worded it better than how I was wording it. And I was like, I'm going to keep theirs. I'm not saying that this is the particular entity that I encountered here. I'm just including this as a background that the hospital staff as well as patients contracted TB and passed away from the disease. So the entity I interacted here with at Waverly could have been one of those nurses. I am a very sensitive person. In a previous investigation, I had made a connection with a female spirit there. It became so strong that at one point, while communicating with her and the other entities through the SB7 spirit box, I started to feel her emotions and I became so overwhelmed that I started to cry.
Aww.
Since the session was concluded, my own feelings came back to me, but the residue of her energy stayed with me for the duration of that night. So at Waverly, once we reached the 5th floor, I became extremely apprehensive. I usually will be at the front of my team, guiding them to the particular locations according to their strengths of the energies in the building. Sometimes I will follow up behind in effort to sort of protect my teammates. In this particular case, I did neither. I felt incredibly nervous. I put my back against the wall and I would not move away from it. I tried to maintain my composure at best, but I felt slightly safer and less exposed. I wanted so badly to leave, but I knew I could not abandon investigation or my team or let them down. In my uncomfortable state, I pressed on, leading my team in an EVP session. We began asking the basic questions, try to see if there were any intelligent entities with us. One investigator stated that we wouldn't judge her, the nurse, for what happened to her, and that it was safe for her to talk to us. After a few moments of silence, I heard footsteps walking around us. Later on, I reviewed the audio. I heard 4 very clear footsteps, which sounded like a lady's heeled shoes clicking on the linoleum. It was a fast-paced walk, as if she had to be somewhere important. Perhaps a doctor required her assistance in a surgery? Question mark. Also, did you notice the lights dim too?
Yep.
Okay. Just making sure. Glad we're on the same page.
Yep, sure are.
All right. This would lead to other experiences throughout my night. After the 5th floor, we made our way back down to the 1st floor. I move around according to the pull of the energy in the building to the electroshock therapy room, and there we decided to separate, each one of us in a different corner of the room. It's a huge ass room. That's what he says in parentheses. We decided to conduct an SV7 spirit box session, and we were not disappointed. Please note that there was virtually zero radio interference due to the building's location and distance from any major cities or towers. Are you done licking me?
Don't look at me. You got caught.
Ma'am. Was really driving me nuts. We started with the usual introductory statements and asked the usual questions. What I look for is intelligence, so I try to elect real-time responses from any entities which might be present. I said out loud that we had come a long way to speak with them, that we had traveled all the way from New York. I asked them if they knew where. Sir?
Harold?
Can you not, please? And thank you. Can you wait? We're almost done. Rude. Now I lost my spot. I asked if they knew where New York was. A female voice came through the box and said north. Having received an intelligent response, I asked if she could tell me the name of any person on my team. The same female voice came through again and said Thomas. Naturally, we were very impressed.
Wow, yeah.
So we continued on. Having received 2 intelligent responses, both in the same female's voice, I said, I'm hearing a female. Do we have a lady here? What came next was disturbing. 3 different voices, dark voices, came through, but joined together, saying, don't speak with her.
Oh, God.
Yeah. This sent chills down my spine. So I started asking questions like, who am I speaking with now? Why can't I speak with her? What do you want from her? I told them that they had no right to keep her, and I told them to let her go. If they ever did, I do not know. We did not receive another response from those dark voices, nor did we hear from that nurse, as I presume that we were communicating with. So we moved on. Next, we went back upstairs, this time to the fourth main operating room. Liking the idea of using trigger objects related to a particular point in time, history which might be familiar to any entities that could reside there, I brought dusk mass.
Is this Zach Baggins? Did you find a Zach Baggins story?
To stimulate as doctors in this room, and Eric took on a role as a doctor. No, I did not. We started another spirit box session. I can't say that word. Session. Tommy asked, do we have any nurses here who can help us? A female voice responded, yes. Then I asked, do we have a nurse here? Can you come over to the doctor and let him know you're here and that you're ready? Again, the female voice said, "Here."
Wow.
I asked, "You're here?" "Nurse, how many patients do we have on the list for today?" The female voice responds, "3."
Wow.
My theory here is that she recognized Eric as a doctor. Perhaps she thought thought the other 3 of us were his patients. The conversation continued. And Tommy, what's the first step? The nurse, give him first aid.
Wow, it's so intelligent. This is
I
so
know.
cool.
We asked more questions like this, but she did not respond to all of them. The next question she did respond was mine, approximately about four-ish so minutes later. Me, can you tell us any of our names? We are the doctor's assistant. Nurse, 3. We continued trying to converse with her, but this was her last response that she gave us. I felt after a few moments of her silence she had left the room. My final encounter with the nurse of Waverly Hills happened after our investigation had ended at 3 a.m. We had gathered up all of our gear, headed back down to the gift shop, which had been designed as our headquarters for the evening. Our tour guide had stayed down there while we conducted our investigation, but when we got back down there, he had asked if any of us would be willing to go into the back building with him so that he could lock up. Of course, we all volunteered to go, so we did. No longer feeling uneasy, I followed up at the back of the group, hoping I'd get a few moments away from everyone experiencing the last little bit of energy that Waverly was willing to share with me. As I was walking past a very large room, I'm not like exactly sure which room it was, as if it was still like pitch black inside this building, but I distinctly heard a woman speaking. It had a definite female vocal tone, and she spoke a full sentence as if she was having a conversation with someone.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, I could not make out what she was saying, but I know for a fact I heard her disembodied voice with my own ears. This was a really amazing experience for me, as if I had never had such a strong connection with a spirit before. The nurse was with us from the beginning of our investigation until the very end, saving the last little bit of evidence just for me. She made our night truly special and one that I'll certainly never forget. I can't wait to go back there and investigate again. But most importantly, the coolest thing that I think out of this whole entire journey was when we did finally leave the building, we heard bye.
That's awesome. I mean, other than like those 3 creepy dudes, but like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And just bye.
Bye. Like, have a good trip.
Like, thanks for coming. Like, that's dope.
Yeah.
It wasn't like too scary or anything. It was just like the perfect. Excuse you. Your dad will kill you.
Yeah. Don't step on his computer.
You
He'll
will be
mad.
no more.
Bad mad.
You will be not here. My husband does not hurt our animals. I am just saying that.
Yeah, it's just a joke. It's just a joke.
It's just a joke. Promise. He loves these cats more than he loves me.
Facts.
And I've got the ring.
Oh.
But that was really fun.
Yeah, I learned a lot today.
I know, I did too.
I'm
It's
super
interesting.
excited. And like we were saying at the beginning, we have a lot coming for you guys and we're super excited. We have so much planned. We're putting so much effort into making this
Yes.
as great as we can for you guys. So please follow us on social media. We have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. That's all Be Afraid of the Dark podcast. Be Afraid of the Dark podcast. Twitter is actually the like acronym, so it's
Yeah.
BOT
BA.
BAOTD podcast. Facebook, we have a business page and we have an actual group that's private. You just have to answer, I think it's 2 or 3 questions. But yes, please join us. We're putting out
Don't forget Instagram.
I said Instagram.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if you said Instagram.
Don't forget to send us any experiences, stories, anything you want to share with us, encounters. at beafraidofthedarkpodcast@gmail.com.
And you are more than welcome to put your experiences in that group chat
Yes.
as well. And then if you want us to use those on the pod, just let us know in that
Yeah.
post because we will see them. We do.
Yes, we watch the group closely.
We do also have a moderator, so she can send
Yes.
us stuff if need be.
Yes, if we don't catch it.
So, which is nice. Please rate, review, like us.
Yes.
We love it.
We love your comments.
We're having such a blast doing this. We really didn't think that this was actually going to be our reality. And
Right.
it kind of was like a joke in the beginning.
We really just thought it was going to be the two of us talking to each other with a record showing of it.
And even if that was the case, we said that in the beginning that we would still do it because
Yeah.
it's fun. It gives us like
Yeah, our little
conversation piece.
spooky time.
Yeah, and we really enjoy it. Please listen. Pyramid scheme the shit.
Yes, tell 2 friends.
Tell everyone you know. I know
Yes.
everybody's not interested in the paranormal.
But sometimes, there's a topic that might pique their interest.
Yeah.
Even
And
if it's just our crackhead energy.
yeah, that too. We are going to have a really cool episode that will be coming out, like just a regular one that's not like an interview or anything. It's gonna take a minute to like get together, but we're gonna do like a bunch of like people who believe and skeptics, and we're gonna do an
Yes.
episode on it. So that's gonna be a couple different people that are
Yes.
gonna be on there.
So it'll probably be a couple.
It'll be
It'll be a
probably
while
like a month before I think we'll probably have that.
to probably piece it all together.
If not a little longer. Because I know I've got a coworker.
Yeah.
And then you've got your boyfriend. Then we got my husband.
Yep. We got a whole group.
But there's more people we could lock down.
Yeah. So until then, Shaylee, remember, don't look behind you.